NCIS has really been on the decline over the past 10 years or so. Basically, the entire original cast has departed from the series, and it's a shell of its former self. We know that something good might be just around the corner though, because one cast member is now available to possibly return. So stay tuned to today's video as we're going to discuss this potential blast from the past. First up, NCIS boss addresses whether Michael Weatherly's Tony DiNozzo could return now with Bull ending. Michael Weatherly left NCIS many years ago to pursue something else within his acting career. Not long after, he took the lead role on Bull, based around his new character Dr. Jason Bull. He played this character for 6 seasons, and now the show is coming to an end with its series finale airing soon. Now that the show is over and he is free to pursue other projects, many are wondering if he will return to NCIS in some shape or form. Many either want him to appear for a few episodes in an upcoming storyline or even come back full time. We don't really know the future of NCIS, but executive producer Stephen D. Binder has something to say about him possibly coming back. According to Binder, Weatherly was actually set to come back to NCIS at some point, but the scheduling never really worked out because he was starring in Bull. Now that he has left that show, it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem anymore. I absolutely would love to do something like that. That's going to depend on Michael Weatherly. He and I have talked over the years about it, and he was always on Bull. And since he was on Bull, it just seemed weird and not right. It does make a lot of sense that Weatherly couldn't come back to NCIS all these years, because he had a lead role on such a popular and demanding series. It's really hard for a star to appear in another show whilst filming for another, let alone star in the other for multiple episodes. These shows were filmed in different locations and on different networks, so it was super hard to pull off and just couldn't be done. Now that Bull has stopped filming and is about to end, Weatherly has a free schedule and could be appearing in NCIS in the near future. One comment from Binder seems to say that it might actually be a while before we see DiNozzo back on our screens. Binder said, "The last conversation I had with him was that he's gonna take some time off and rest, because he went from a very difficult schedule on NCIS to headlining his own show for 6 years through COVID. But I can say that I consider him a friend, so it's not a difficult conversation to have with him. It's just a question of whether or not it works out. Who can really blame Weatherly for wanting to take a break from acting? He was on NCIS for 13 years, and then Bull for another 6. All of that with the pandemic going on as well. He clearly just wants to take some time off with his family and relax for a few years. He'll probably appear in NCIS sometime before the show ends, or in a few years from now. It's nice to know that he wants to come back at least. We're looking forward to seeing him appear in NCIS sometime in the future, but we aren't holding out hope for that to be anytime soon. What do you think about Weatherly possibly reprising his role as DiNozzo in a few years or so? Let us know down in the comments section below. Also, tell us how you feel about NCIS right now. Now we have some other NCIS content. Next up, what does the future of NCIS look like? We all know that NCIS has been going on for nearly 20 years at this point, and over time the series has declined in quality. The first few seasons of the show were just amazing. The dynamic between each of our main characters, and how all the storylines were intertwined with one ongoing narrative between them all. Over time, we fell in love with each of these characters, and they did as well. We got relationships between some of them, and of course, the deaths of a few as well. Over time, cast members departed the show as it went on, and for various reasons. As the show went on, the stories got worse and the characters left. One of the biggest departures was Michael Weatherly as DiNozzo. He was easily one of the best characters on the show, and his departure really was the beginning of the end from the fan perspective. We then saw the character of Abby leave the show, and of course, Gibbs recently. Gibbs has been on the back burner for many years now, as the actor wanted to take a step back into a producer and writer role. His character was taken back and others replaced him. The newer cast of the show aren't the best according to fans, and they really just don't enjoy them as much as they do the original crew. Gibbs had a few interesting storylines over the years, and some fake-out deaths as well. You could see the writers were teasing the audience and testing them with the possible death of Gibbs in the near future. Nowadays, Gibbs may have left the show, but will probably return down the line, and a consultant on story and writing decisions. The show is basically a different thing nowadays, and it's clear that it's not going well. Viewership might not be as high as it once was, but it's not at the point of being canceled either. That's the weird thing about the show right now. The entire original cast are basically gone, but people still tune in because many have done so for over a decade. It's hard for them to just depart from the show because it's been a part of them for many years now. It seems like NCIS won't be getting canceled, but just might end in the near future. It would be nice to have the original cast return in some shape or form for one final episode to really send off this beloved series with a nice note. What do you think about this? Let us know down in the comments section below. Finally, we have, how old is Ducky from NCIS? Here's what we know. Ducky is one of the only characters left from the early seasons of NCIS, and he is still going strong. He has consistently shown up in the series and has been a very valuable player in the show's many storylines. Ever since the first episode of NCIS, he has been the medical examiner for our protagonist and of course Team Gibbs since the beginning of time, and stopped back in season 15 where he retired. Even after retirement, he has shown up now and again. Even after retirement, he shows up every now and again to help out the team. Jimmy Palmer was introduced to replace Ducky as the medical examiner as well. Despite being replaced and retiring, he wasn't done with the show. Ducky is one sharp character, and he always knows exactly what to do and when to do it. He is also considerably older than many of the other characters in the show right now. The show has moved its age group and is now full of much younger characters compared to how the original characters would be now. So he stands out. So how old exactly is Ducky in the current NCIS timeline? The show has never explicitly stated the age of many of its major and minor characters. series, especially Ducky. They try to keep this away from the narrative, but we did figure out just how old Ducky actually is. His age doesn't really change his character though, as we already know that Ducky is wise and smart. His age only amplifies these traits and makes him a much better character in the long run. So it seems like Ducky is actually around 88 years old right now, as of recording this video in 2022. He matches the actor who portrays him, David McCallum. He was born on September 19, 1933, which makes him 88 years old right now. What a crazy age to still be acting, and he's doing it all just fine. Ducky has retracted from the show a little bit over the past few years, as the actor wants to spend more time with his family in his later years. And we don't blame him. He has been playing Ducky for decades now, and he deserves some time with his family. And that's the end of the video. NCIS may have its ups and downs, but overall the series has and always will be iconic and legendary. These characters are household names for many people, and nothing can take away from the early magic that was NCIS. The spin-off series has always done pretty well, but it seems like they are slowly being phased out for newer shows. NCIS itself will always be a legendary series, and one that even though it's not at its best right now, the audience will never forget its origins. Its cast may have left, and the original style of the show may have been lost over the years, but its fan base are loyal. Hopefully some of the original cast return at some point, as it would be an amazing send-off to this series. Hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!